First thing to point out, this is a taped show prior to WrestleMania 9. If you felt that it was disjointed, yeah, no shit. Another enhancement match from Bam Bam. Once again, this man deserved a whole lot more than what he got at that time. But Bigelow is given some time to shine at least, you know. Even as a squash, this does take 7 minutes.
Virgil, taking it to Big Bam Bam.
I mean, Virgil's time has passed in 1991. They didn't do anything with his character after leaving DiBiase, so the reaction does make sense in 1993. I do want to commend Jim Johnston for Virgil's music. I do like it. Imagine, different music for jobbers. Couldn't be us today, we barely have different music for main eventers. The one thing you may find a bit weird about this show, the matches are longer than usual. In fact, in a 60-minute broadcast with ads, we have a total of 33.5 minutes of wrestling. This is a very high amount for the time, and even for today, because promos can also take a huge portion of a broadcast nowadays. Here, the only real promo time was given to Lawler, but we'll talk about that. They actually gave Virgil 2 3-drops and power-ups. They made the match quite slow, and all the matches are actually pretty slow because this is just a vehicle to have commentary talk about WrestleMania 9. Don't make a drinking game of how many times they talk about the show as the best WrestleMania. Nice dropkick. Not amazing, but pretty good. Kinda sucks to make Bam Bam sell as much though. In this match, he should really be fully dominant, but he has a few moments where he has to sell. Guys, there was no salvaging Virgil without changing his character. And there it is, the diving headbutt. Bam Bam looked menacing. He just needed more to do. Don't know what to think about Lawler. Later in 1993, he will be indicted with some pretty nasty charges, but at the same time, none of the witnesses showed up, so was it all made up? I do stand with victims though, and Lawler won't have a good rep here, but unfortunately, as someone said in 1983, this is the garbage business. As much as we can like wrestling, we unfortunately have to live with the fact that a whole bunch of wrestlers and promoters are very bad people. And my wins are purely based on the wrestling aspect, and I will have to disregard whatever has happened outside of the ring, with some exceptions if the charges too high are proven. So with that said, that's some gigantic heat for Lawler with just walking out of a scheduled match. Why is this here? They already talked about it twice on the headsets. Where are we here? Like, what the whatever, just let it happen, and kudos to Backlund for having some reaction on his entrance. More than at Mania. Oh yeah, Kim Chi is the Brooklyn Brawler. Steve Lombardi played so many roles around that time. You know, Backlund spent way longer than he should losing this match. A reminder for this crowd, this was the build to WrestleMania 9. This was supposed to make you buy the pay-per-view. I don't think that this match worked in that regard. Cool, a bridge win. And you can clearly see that Backlund is a real wrestler with the shoulders being off the mat and everything very clearly. Oh wow, a clear piss break match with 2 low people on the card. This was basically just made to have Bartlett on the phone here and just more talking about WrestleMania 9. When you have a win from Damien Demento in a show, I don't really think I have to add anything as to the importance of the show, can I? Second outing for Lawler, and again, even more heat. This time he doesn't even talk and leaves. It's effective. If one man can get some heat, it's Lawler. He's got a bit of experience with that. Just a bit. Hope you like seeing this video package. You'll see it a few times in the 2 next shows. We have already seen this match at the Royal Rumble. Believe it or not, but this match is longer than the Rumble opener by almost a minute. The match starts basically the same way as it did in the Rumble. Complaints about hair pulling and lockups, and lower heat in here because it's a much smaller venue. Finally though, a bit of speed on display in a match, and of course it's the Steiners match that has some speed. Good lord, the Beverleys could take some good bumps from the Steiners moves. This double underhook was as smooth as butter. Scoop power slam, always a lovely move from Rick Steiner. Yeah, I'm not going to count every power move from the Steiners. Instead, just give 3 extra wins and move on. But overall, this is a very formulaic match that follows the exact same template as their Rumble encounter. Not very interesting then, but effective. Alright, one little thing, I didn't realize how much Bill Alfonso was refereeing matches back in this era.
Unreliable I am. Don't count on me, Rob Bartlett.
I don't know why, but this made me laugh. It did. Whoa, that almost didn't go well. There was a bit of under-rotation, but it worked out in the end. What is it with Beverly's and having some close calls? Wait, where was the pop for the hot tag? Guys, I get that this taping was probably quite long, but can we get a bit excited here? Come on, those guys are good. That is probably the cleanest Frankensteiner we've got so far. But also, I didn't realize how much this match lacked some crowd reaction. It's unfortunate. More good heat with him staying on the side, and then the transfer to the babyface by having him attack early from the outside. Could have been to someone with more lasting power, but hey. Lawler barely sells after taking a good amount of offense. I get it though, he's supposed to be way better than someone like Powers at this point. Savage and Lawler. That would have been a bit interesting. If only Vince could stop being a coward and put Macho in the ring again, please. A lot of stalling, but it is because of the heat and the fact he's selling the crowd chants, so I don't dislike that. Would be better if he could have had a bit of more offense before his final flurry, more than just countering. He's the fucking king, he's a legend of Memphis. And here's the pile driver. I don't think he needed the tights after, but hey, it's still fine enough. There was more of an attempt at making something between Lawler and Savage, but, well, it doesn't really transpire to anything after the final break. Again, just a promo, but nothing happening between Savage and Lawler in the next few months, other than some commentary bickering. And overall, this edition of Raw is slightly better than the last couple we've had because of the Steiners and Lawler's persistent heat. However, its lack of continuity to the rest of the WWF's programming, as well as the complete avoidance of anything Mania related, makes it a really weird show to watch after checking Mania. You'd believe that this was just random. The only people that were even at Mania are the Steiners and Backlund. This is also because the schedule was not made correctly at that point. Thankfully, next year, since Mania is at the Garden, they are much closer to New York and can make a quick show for Raw right after, which gives us a show that has a bit more link to the pay-per-view, but that's for next year. However then, for this show, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10, and I think that's a bit generous, but also fine enough, with a serviceable match for the Steiners and Lawler doing his thing, but as a whole, you won't be satisfied. Next week, a bigger show at the Civic Center with IRS against Scott Steiner and an interesting Luna Vachon promo. Happy New Year, everyone, and see you next week.